So, chapter 4. Let's go to Oliver. Map, rations, yep, I think that's everything. Satisfied with my packing, I hurry, whatever, go fast down the stairs just as Mom was rereading the letter of recommendation she'd finished. Wow, it took her all night! I should be like super grateful for it. Oh, Ara, all prepared.
Right!
Sure I am. How's the letter? I just showed it to the Angel Baller Guild, right? The Argent Baller Guild thing was one of the most prestigious orders in Estera. It consisted of knights who served the Sun and Moon Council, but also did not military work. Oliver was the central hub for all their activity. Mom had been part of the guild all her life, so her name was well known among the younger generations of knights. Right. As long as the former knight recommends you, it shouldn't be too hard to wear the rag. Hopefully they didn't change any of the requirements. Excited, I snatched up the letter and quickly skimmed the beginning. I, Lady Andrine Bayer, forming captain of the guard, Tour Copolier of the 3rd Cavalry Line of... Mom, your titles and credentials are longer than the actual recommendation, but I guess it helps since I've been trained under you. I returned the letter so she could officially seal it, then promptly took it into my bag, making sure it wouldn't get green. The merchant venture's carriage should be ready. They already know the escort arrangements, and your father is making sure the boys don't get into much trouble. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Let's do this!
Anyway, let's get going. You're gonna see your daughter off and have a grand adventure after all. I eagerly rushed out the door, not wanting to make the others wait any longer. Wait, Aura. I halted them, debowed, noting the cautious tone in her pose. Yes? She sighed and folded her arms. Well, originally I was going to cancel this whole arrangement. Eh? Why? The merchant was rather vague about the contents he was carrying. I usually like to confirm everything with my own eyes, since it's not for their safety, but also mine, and that any other escorts. I happily thought the batch will contain monsters or anything sinister. Are you sure you're not overreacting? I mean, this is your daughter getting involved. She paused and mulled over my suggestions carefully. True. It may just be my overprotectiveness. It's not. Definitely not. This is the first time my daughter will go off on her own after all. She nodded, mostly to herself, and I accept her.
Right.
Thanks for organizing everything. Now come on! As expected, Dad, Kerr, and Ilmari were at the edge of Berry, with the carriage stationary on the main road. Kerr was pacing while Ilmari was chatting happily with my dad. Yeah, of course he would. The coachman waved to acknowledge us, and I approached the window of the vehicle. A middle-aged man sat amongst the sails and pillows, which suggested I was protecting a wealthy merchant. Mr. Ormande, was it? I'm Lee, and my companions and I will be escorting you to Oliver. I assure you we're trained, and you'll get there unharmed. The others are well-versed in magic. I was pretty confident about that assumption, at least. He nodded, and I wasn't sure if he was nervous or just reserved. Thank you. Shall we set off straight away? Oh, of course, it's no problem. I glanced down and saw a boarding box. It was long and narrow, and I tried to fathom what was so important that they needed to hire protection. Maybe it was a sword. I wanted to ask about the contents, but decided against it. My priority was getting to Oliver, and the quicker the better. I made a mental apology to my mother, rationalizing she was just worrying over nothing.
Let's do this!
Alright, it seems everyone is ready. We're moving out. I energetically motioned to the others, then exchanged hugs with my parents. I promise I won't go on for too long. I'll definitely be back in time for the harvest. As we departed, my mom cupped her hands around her mouth. And remember, be sure to check every barrel, crate, and chest in town. The residents don't mind if you find something useful. Mom, I'm pretty sure that's stealing. Speaking of which, teach your companions the concept of pay. We don't want them accidentally pilfering apples or the like. Oh gosh, that's right, I didn't even think about that. Ilmari grins at me curiously as we continue walking. Hey, just don't take stuff, especially if it seems like it belongs to other people. But your mom just said, don't mind what she said. Kerr, you're the far ahead. Not a professional start. Thanks, Kerr. Dimensional probably heard that they didn't understand Pai either. Thank you, family. We hadn't even left village, and already my mind was swarming with too many warrants of thoughts about the journey. No, just focus on it. Focus. It'll run smoothly, and everything will be fine once we reach Oliver. I reached into the bag and touched the letter for comfort, and to make sure it was still there. Feeling my confidence returning, I straightened my back and boldly gazed beyond the road. Finally, my dreams will come to fruition. The journey so far had gone off without a hitch. We were passing through a rockier area with a forest pressing against us on both sides of the road. There was still much greenery, but some things were already showing the early signs of autumn, with yellowy leaves. Ilmari and I were ahead of the two-horse carriage while he was content with shadowing the vehicle. Since history and politics were never my forte, my brain is trained up to answer Ilmari's endless question, but I would immediately perk up if they had anything to do with knights. Unfortunately, this wasn't
I
one
have
of
a
those
question.
times. So this council, each town has a representative, and they come together in Oliver to help the govern? Pretty much. They do things like build bridges and schools or improve the agriculture. We have similar system between the Wise Dragons. They use their knowledge of all the past to help shape our future. Hey, Mari, have you been picking up activity for the past hour or so?
Well...
Ilmari, and yes, I have, but I wasn't sure if I should be brought up at all. I paused and touched my hilt, but let my hand drop. Lest it would reveal I suspected something. Activity? Are we being followed? The two exchanging glances, with Ilmari appearing more apologetic than
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I should have said something. I wish I had your hearing abilities, but still, I feel so inattentive. I surveyed the forest, nothing any jumping the cliff sides. If we were to be ambushed, we were dead. How many? I don't know, 5? 6? You think this Valeris has a malicious agenda? I didn't think having gone would be this hostile type. Well, I would say everything was peaceful, but disputes and fights still arise. There's always exceptions. Dragon Car are generally harmonious, but clashes still occur. Especially when dominant young males are expanding their territories and they happen to overlap. If it can get quite intense and scary. Not speaking from experience or anything. Of course not.
Annoying.
I never assume. Weak. Wait. He stared hard at Mari and then his eyes widened in recognition. We have met! He already said that. Oh god. Kira let out a serious laugh, currently amazed by the whole situation. Sorry about that. Territorial instinct. Now I understand. That lake had a nice beach. Okay. I step between them two before any more tension
Stay
could arise.
focused.
Can we save the border debate for another time? Right now we have to focus on the other people pursuing us. I wish you would tell me sooner, but at least now we can anticipate any attacks. Let's keep it from the coachman and our client. We'll feign ignorance in the meantime, and hope nothing bad will come out of this. I'd rather avoid battle if possible. Realizing we've been standing around, we quickly resumed our march. As I adjusted the bag strap over my shoulder, I tried to glance discreetly into the woods. Here, Ilmari, what is your fighting experience? You would probably take them out in dragon form. This body. Ilmari shook his head resolutely.
I'd rather not.
I'm not doing anything like that. Moreover, I'm an Arius. I wouldn't do well on land. I know some magic, so I can be a good sport. I nodded, and looked at Kerr expectantly. I'll be fine fighting directly. At least you can walk without problems. And I have my sword, along with some focusing techniques. At least we were balanced now, and my focusing techniques will have me fight up in optimal condition. Ilmari's ears perked up, and he shifted nervously while Kerr grit his teeth. They are moving swiftly. They are probably planning to launch an assault once we advance a little farther. I think they're positioning themselves by an outcrop. When we get there, he trailed off, and I make a fist, beating my leave anxiously. Alright, they think they have the element of surprise? Prepare for yourselves. Yourselves. Everybody. Everyone. Sounds like there's more than 5 now. I could feel my stomach lurch as we neared the destination, and I already had my hand on my sword hilt. Calm down, and I wouldn't be afraid. I gulped, and then shifted myself mentally, shaking those thoughts from my head. I reminded myself that I was not a coward. I mentally concentrated on a spell that helped refresh and restore some vigor to my body. It will increase my strength temporarily. Once the outcrop loomed over us, there was a moment of uneasy stillness before a soup wind kept through the walls. What? A muscle-bound man landed directly on top of the carriage, shaking it violently and causing the horses to rear up. The coachman tried to settle them down as the attacker would leap off the vehicle, unsheathing his sword. I dodged over and directed his attention to me before he could rip off the door. Our weapons clashed, and I clenched my teeth as I successfully pushed him away from the carriage. I could hear the scuffling of our feet as more men emerged from the forest, and my heart plummeted. We were outnumbered nearly 3 to 1. Not only that, all of the attackers seemed too organized to be a mere bandit group. My opponent's sword fighting was refined, and their outfits too proper. Not to mention they had followed us for some time, according to Kerr and Ilmari. I'm losing. I dodged one of his slashes and knocked him out with the blunt side of my sword. I did not want to resort to taking a life if I could help it. I saw Kerr lunge forward and perform an awkward curl slap to one of the guy's faces, like he was in a catfight. It looked painful, but it was not an effective strategy. Plus, he used to battle with glass. I tried to approach Kerr, but he was stopped by another foe. I parried just in time, but he could feel the ace whipping across my arm. Kerr punched and make a fist! What? The X-Men swung away. I ducked and then charged forward, bringing up my left hand. Like this! My fist contacted my opponent's cheek, causing him to stumble back. Pain shot through my arm, and it took all my effort not to drop my sword and cut on my poor hand. Like that! Right. Kerr delivered a hearty punch. This time, it sent his opponent flying. Wow, that's awesome. He glanced at his fist in bafflement, and a smirk appeared on his lips. Not bad. Kid could be used to this. As Kerr jumped to the fray, I could hear Ilmari apologizing loudly. I forced the forward to swing forth his hands, tumbling someone who tried to run up to him. 4 down, 4 to go! A few men that had gotten back up were now second-guessing themselves, while the more stubborn was to run us. As I engaged in another sword fight, I stepped back and felt my shoulders bump into someone. I glanced up at the heat of battle and spot Kerr, who looked down at me. The heat of battle? Don't remind me. I assure you the spell won't wear off from my clothes. It's just that I don't want to glance back during, I don't know, the heat of a battle in case you start naked. Alright. Right. You have to be kidding me. Before we could stop ourselves, we burst up laughing, causing the challengers surrounding us to look perplexed, possibly even alarmed or scared.
Please stop!
Why are you two laughing? Help me! Ilmari retreated to the other side of the carriage and he struggled to conjure a spell. Okay, let's move. Kerr's still chuckling. I knocked another man out and darting around the carriage, while I was locked with the second to last foe standing. I riposted, but he blocked my sword. I retaliated with a swift kick to the stomach, and he stumbled back. His eyes darted over his fallen comrades as he slowly backed away. I pointed my sword at him as he hastily disappeared into the forest, leaving his partners behind. Perfect timing! Since I could feel my fucking spell wear off. Coward. He left his comrades! What kind of a person? A high-pitched scream came from the carriage as I turned to see that the door was open. One of the armed men was stopping with the box. No!
Bring it.
Not while I'm around. That sounded awesome. He slammed the ground with his fist, causing the whole place to shake. I kneeled down, covering my head as my sword clattered harmlessly into the soil. My knees felt like they liquefied, and I had to use one hand to support myself. I couldn't move, and each shock only reinforced my terror. This guy is amazing.
Please stop!
Kerr, cease this at once! Did Ilmari notice I was scared? The man tripped from the jolts, and the box flew out of his grip. It hit the rocky terrain with a crash, causing the latch to open. I forced myself to stand up, but I was unnerved from the tremors. Every step felt wobbly. Kerr focused on the almost thief, who also disappeared in the woods, leaving the other comrades behind. Cowards. By the time I got to the fallen objects, Ilmari was already scooping the items back into the coffer. I saw a few feathers sticking out. Perplexed by the wares, I reached out for the box, but Ilmari slammed it shut. His face pale white. Ilmari? You closed it. It would have been unfortunate if it got damaged. It was intact? Yes, nothing appears broken. He gave me an unstrained smile. I don't trust you, Ilmari. Kerr chased off the remaining conscious opponents, and I carefully stepped around the supine ones. A few groans were made, but they probably wouldn't be out for a while. Ilmari handed the box to me as he was eager to get rid of it. Thanks, I'll return this to Mr. Ormande. I hastily approached the vehicle and placed the box on the seat. The friend of the merchants glanced up warily. We chased them off, whoever they were. He closed the coffer, glancing into his lap. Did you see what was inside? No, but I'm sure the contents are safe. I closed the door and probably asked the coachman to resume driving. I sheathed my sword, then rubbed my throat and left hand, regretting my rush display before. Then again, it wasn't like I had time to explain a punch, and Kerr had cut off on quickly, so it doesn't matter. As we walked, I could feel the adrenaline rush leave me and fatigue creep up. I didn't think I did something like that so soon. I looked up to gauge the boys' expressions to see how they were fading. He was possibly beaming. Every shot screamed out his triumph. Ilmari had become awfully quiet, and he appeared lost in thought. I'll talk to Kerr, because that was awesome, man. That was awesome. I slapped up to Kerr. Surprisingly, he didn't flinch or increase the distance between us. Someone looks happy. I thought this journey will be boring, but that might not be so dull after all. Not that I want to prolong it more than necessary. My prime concern is still getting to the next altar.
Yeah.
Like she said. But we made a pretty good team, if I do say myself. You fight quite well in that form. You're not half bad yourself. Although your punch could use some work. I stick it to my sword, thank you very much. I'll introduce the hand-to-hand combat to you. Speaking of which, is your hand okay? Huh? I was still subconsciously rubbing it, and subsequently stopped to reassure him that I wasn't harmed. I'm good, I'm just not used to it. I smirked wryly. Thanks for caring. I wasn't. Like you said, just leave the unarmed calm with me. It's starting to sound like we'll be traveling together even longer. Only if you continue to be helpful. I can still find someone else if I want to. Of course, everyone will have a dragon. They grumble and walk faster, but I did appreciate his concern. In a few days, we will arrive in Oliver. I adjusted my bag and thought about the letter, eager to reach the guild.